Today I'm going to be talking about how good women accidentally push good men away. Welcome back to Relationship Reality. If you're new here, my name is David, and on this channel, we talk about the relationship truths people feel but rarely know how to explain. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and stay with me until the end because this conversation may help you understand something you've been doing unintentionally, or something someone you love has been doing to you. And I want to be very clear from the beginning. This is not about attacking women. This is not about blaming women. This is not about saying men are perfect. Men fail. Men wound. Men neglect. Men avoid. Men run. Men go silent. Men damage relationships too. But today, I want to talk about something more specific. I want to talk about good women, women with good hearts, women who love deeply, women who care, women who have carried families, women who have survived betrayal, women who have built themselves from pain, women who have learned to be strong because weakness was never safe. And yet, some of these same good women accidentally push good men away, not because they do not love them, but because love, without awareness, can still do damage. That is a painful truth. You can love someone and still make it hard for them to stay close. You can want a relationship to work and still behave in ways that slowly destroy connection. You can have good intentions and still create bad outcomes. And that is what many people do not understand. Intentions matter, but impact matters too. A good woman can say, "I was only trying to help. I was only trying to protect myself. I was only trying to make things better. I was only trying to make sure he became the man he could be." And all of that may be true. But from where a good man is standing, the message may feel very different. He may hear, "You are not enough. I do not trust you. I do not need you. I do not respect you. I do not believe in you. I will love you more when you become someone else." And once a man starts hearing that message again and again, even when you never said the exact words, something inside him begins to move away. Not all at once. Slowly, quietly, the way good men usually leave. They do not always slam doors. They do not always shout. They do not always announce their pain. Sometimes they simply stop reaching, stop explaining, stop offering, stop trying. And the woman looks at him one day and says, "What happened to you?" But the deeper question is, what happened to the space between you? Because good men usually do not pull away from love. They pull away from environments where their love no longer feels useful, respected, or safe. I need you to sit with that. A man can love you and still feel like he cannot breathe around you. A man can want you and still feel like he is always failing you. A man can be loyal and still become tired of feeling unnecessary. A man can stay physically while leaving emotionally. And by the time many women notice, he has already been grieving the relationship for a long time. So today I want to walk through the ways good women accidentally push good men away. And as we go, I want you to comment honestly. Women, if you recognize yourself, do not attack yourself. Awareness is not condemnation. It is an invitation. Men, if you have lived this, share your experience with maturity, not bitterness, not revenge. Tell the truth in a way that helps somebody understand. Because somebody watching this may still have time to save their relationship. The first way good women accidentally push good men away is by becoming so independent that there is no room left for him to contribute. Now listen carefully. Independence is not the problem. A woman should be capable. A woman should be strong. A woman should have her own mind. A woman should not be helpless. That is not what I am saying. But there is a difference between healthy independence and defensive independence. Healthy independence says, "I can stand on my own." Defensive independence says, "I will never need anyone again." And many good women do not realize they are living from the second one. They call it strength, but sometimes it is actually fear wearing armor. Maybe she had to become that way. Maybe she was disappointed too many times. Maybe she loved a man who failed her. Maybe she grew up in a home where nobody came when she needed help. Maybe she learned early that needing people was dangerous. So now, when a good man enters her life and wants to help, provide, protect, support, or contribute, she does not receive it. She blocks it. She says, "I've got it. I can do it myself. I don't need help. Don't worry about it." And at first, he may admire her strength, but over time, he begins to feel something else. Redundant, unnecessary, like there is no place for his masculine contribution, like his presence is optional, like she wants his love but not his involvement, like she wants a relationship but has built a life where nobody is allowed to matter too much. And a good man needs to feel that his presence adds value, not because he is weak, not because he needs a woman to be helpless, but because love wants to contribute. Love wants to serve. Love wants to carry something. Love wants to know, my being here makes a difference. When a man offers to help and is constantly refused, something subtle happens. He stops offering, not because he does not care, because repeated rejection teaches him that his care is unwanted. And then the woman may say, he never helps, he never steps up, he does not offer anymore. But sometimes he did offer, for months, for years, and every time he offered, the door was closed. So he learned to stay outside. Comment below if you have seen this happen. Have you ever pushed away help, then later felt unsupported? That question may hurt, but sometimes the question that hurts is the one that heals. The remedy is not to become weak. The remedy is to become receptive. There is power in receiving. There is love in allowing someone to show up for you. There is wisdom in saying, yes, thank you. Not because you cannot do it, but because relationships are not built by proving you do not need each other. They are built by creating places where both people can matter. The second way good women push good men away is by trying to fix them. This is one of the most common mistakes, and it often comes from a beautiful place. She sees potential. She sees his gifts. She sees who he could become. She sees his discipline, his intelligence, his heart, his pain, his unfinished growth. And because she loves him, she wants to help him become better. That sounds noble, but it becomes dangerous when love turns into renovation, because no man wants to feel like a project in the hands of the woman he loves. He wants to feel accepted. He wants to feel respected. He wants to feel believed in. But when every conversation becomes correction, advice, improvement, suggestion, and adjustment, the message becomes heavy. He hears, you are close, but not enough. I love you, but not like this. I will be happier when you become the version I imagined. And that slowly wounds a man, not because he hates growth. Good men want to grow, but growth inspired by love feels different from growth demanded through disappointment. One feels like support. The other feels like rejection. A woman may say, I'm only trying to help him, but he may feel, she does not like who I am. This is where resentment begins. A man can take criticism from the world. He expects it there. The world judges his performance, his income, his strength, his competence, his results. But when he comes home, he does not want to feel like he is still being graded. Home should not feel like another performance review. Love should not feel like an endless improvement plan. If everything about him needs adjusting before you can be at peace, then he will eventually stop feeling loved. He will feel managed, and nobody wants to be managed in the place where they hope to be cherished. Research-based relationship educators like the Gottman Institute have long warned that criticism and contempt are deeply damaging patterns in relationships, with contempt described as especially dangerous for long-term stability. And contempt often begins quietly, not with hatred, with small superiority, the little sigh, the eye roll, the you always do this, the why can't you just, the let me show you how to do it properly, the I knew you would mess that up. A good woman may not realize that her tone has become more mother than partner, more supervisor than lover, more critic than companion. And once a man starts feeling mothered instead of admired, something changes. He may still love her, but he stops relaxing around her. He stops bringing his ideas. He stops sharing his dreams. He stops making himself emotionally available. Because why open your heart to someone who keeps trying to remodel it? The remedy is simple, but not easy. Ask yourself, am I loving the man in front of me, or am I loving an imagined version of him? Because if you cannot respect who he is today, you may not actually be in love with him. You may be in love with your project, and projects do not hold you at night. People do. The third way good women push good men away is by making the relationship emotionally one-sided. This one is delicate, because emotional support matters. A man should listen. A man should care. A man should be present. A man should not dismiss a woman's feelings. But there is a difference between emotional intimacy and emotional dumping. There is a difference between sharing your heart and making someone responsible for regulating your entire nervous system. Some women do not realize that every conversation has become about their stress, their anxiety, their fears, their frustrations, their pain, their needs, their day, their emotional weather, and the man becomes the container, the listener, the fixer, the calmer, the therapist, the emotional shock absorber. At first, he may feel honored. He may think, she trusts me, she needs me, she opens up to me. But over time, if there is no balance, he begins to feel invisible. He knows everything she feels, but she does not know what he carries. She cries, and he holds her. But when he is quiet, nobody asks why. She breaks down, and he comforts her. But when he is tired, he is expected to keep functioning. She vents for an hour, then asks why he seems distant. But what she does not see is that his emotional energy has been spent. Human relationships can buffer stress, but troubled relationships can also become sources of stress themselves, affecting emotional and physical well-being. So when one person becomes the permanent emotional outlet, and the other becomes the permanent emotional holder, imbalance grows. And imbalance creates quiet resentment. A good man may not say, "I am exhausted from holding you," because he does not want to hurt her. He does not want to seem weak. He does not want to seem uncaring. So he just becomes quieter. He starts giving shorter answers. He starts avoiding deep conversations. He starts spending more time alone. She sees the distance and thinks he is pulling away. But sometimes he is not pulling away from love. He is pulling away from emotional overload. This is very important. A man can care deeply and still get tired. A man can love you and still need space. A man can be loyal and still feel drained. A good man is not an unlimited emotional machine. He is human. The remedy is mutuality. Ask him, "How are you really?" And then be quiet long enough for the real answer. Do not only bring him your storms. Ask about his. Do not only make him your safe place. Become one for him too. Because love cannot survive forever when only one person is allowed to collapse. The fourth way good women push good men away is by moving too fast and calling it love. This happens more than people admit. A woman meets a good man. He is kind, stable, consistent, different from the men who hurt her. And because he feels safe, she wants to secure him quickly. She wants labels, plans, promises, time, commitment, reassurance, constant communication. She wants to know where it is going before the relationship has had time to breathe. And again, this may come from fear, not manipulation. She does not want to waste time. She does not want to be played. She does not want to be abandoned. She does not want another man to enjoy her presence without offering commitment. That is understandable. But pressure can suffocate what patience would have allowed to grow. Good men who value long-term commitment often take commitment seriously. They are not always slow because they are unserious. Sometimes they are slow because they are careful. They want to observe. They want to understand compatibility. They want to see character over time. They want to know whether peace exists after the excitement fades. But if a woman demands the harvest before the roots have grown, the man may feel trapped instead of chosen. And when a man feels trapped, he starts looking for air. Love needs closeness, but it also needs space. Connection needs time, but it also needs rhythm. Too much pressure too early can turn a good thing into something heavy. A woman may think, if he really liked me, he would move faster. But sometimes a good man moves slowly because he is trying to build something real. The remedy is pace. Do not confuse patience with rejection. Do not confuse steadiness with lack of interest. Do not confuse a man's need to breathe with a lack of love. Ask for clarity, but do not demand intensity as proof. Intensity can be manufactured. Consistency must be observed. Stay with me, because this next part may make many people uncomfortable. The fifth way good women push good men away is by rejecting vulnerability while still wanting intimacy. Some women say they want emotional connection, but when a man offers it, they do not know how to receive it. He gives a compliment. She dismisses it. He tries to be affectionate. She jokes it away. He opens up. She changes the subject. He expresses insecurity. She loses respect. He shares pain. She becomes uncomfortable. And slowly he learns, my softness is not safe here. That sentence breaks something in a man, because men are often told they need to open up more, talk more, express more, be more emotionally available. But many men have experienced the painful reality of opening up and being punished for it. Sometimes directly, sometimes subtly. He cries once, and she never looks at him the same way. He admits fear, and she becomes colder. He shares insecurity, and it is later used in an argument. He expresses need, and she calls him needy. Then later she wonders why he does not open up. But he remembers what happened when he did. Good men do not always need a woman to solve their pain. Sometimes they only need her not to shame it. A woman can push a man away by making him feel that his strength is welcome, but his humanity is not. That is a lonely place for a man to live. He becomes useful but unknown, desired but not safe, needed but not held. And after a while, he stops offering the vulnerable parts of himself. He only brings the functional parts, the provider, the fixer, the calm one, the strong one, but not the wounded one, not the tired one, not the uncertain one, not the boy inside the man who still needs to know he can be loved without performing. The remedy is to learn how to receive tenderness. When he compliments you, say thank you. When he opens up, do not correct him immediately. When he shares pain, do not turn it into a debate. When he is vulnerable, protect the moment. Because if a man learns that his heart is safe with you, he will give you parts of himself the world never sees. And that is sacred. The sixth way good women push good men away is by subtly emasculating them. Now I know that word makes some people uncomfortable, but we need to be mature enough to talk about it. A good man does not need to dominate a woman. He does not need her to be silent. He does not need her to shrink. He does not need to control her. But he does need to feel respected. Respect is not optional to a man. It is oxygen. A woman may love him deeply, but if her tone constantly communicates disrespect, her love will not feel safe. She may question every decision, correct him in public, interrupt his thoughts, dismiss his ideas, laugh at his mistakes, compare him to other men, talk down to him, act like he cannot do anything right, and then later wonder why he stopped leading. But leadership dies in an environment of constant contempt. A man cannot keep stepping forward where he is consistently made to feel foolish for trying. If every decision he makes becomes a courtroom, he will stop making decisions. If every effort is criticized, he will stop offering effort. If every idea is dismissed, he will stop sharing ideas. Then the woman says, I wish he would lead. But sometimes she trained him not to, not intentionally, but repeatedly. The remedy is not fake submission. The remedy is respect. Speak to the man you love like someone you still believe in. Correct privately. Appreciate publicly. Ask before assuming. Honor effort even when the result is imperfect. Because a man who feels respected often rises. A man who feels despised often retreats. The seventh way good women push good men away is by making him feel like he can never make her happy. This one destroys men quietly. A good man can survive hard work. He can survive sacrifice. He can survive pressure. But it is very difficult for a man to stay emotionally open when he feels that nothing he does is ever enough. He works. Not enough. He helps. Not enough. He listens. Not enough. He plans something. Wrong thing. He buys something. Wrong timing. He tries to fix the problem. He should have listened. He listens. He should have done something. Eventually, he starts feeling like there is no winning. And when a man feels there is no winning, he stops playing. Not because he does not care, because constant failure destroys motivation. This is especially painful with good men because good men want to make their women happy. They may not always know how. They may miss details. They may need guidance. But deep down, a good man wants to feel that his presence improves your life. If he starts believing his presence only disappoints you, he will begin to withdraw. At first emotionally, then physically, then maybe permanently. The remedy is appreciation, not flattery, not pretending everything is perfect. Appreciation. Notice the good. Say it out loud. Do not make his flaws the only part of him that receives attention. Because what you repeatedly notice grows in emotional importance. If you only notice what is wrong, he will feel like a problem. If you also notice what is right, he will feel like a partner. And people try harder where they feel appreciated. The 8th way good women push good men away is by bringing old wounds into new love without realizing it. This may be the deepest one. Many good women are not reacting to the man in front of them. They are reacting to the man who hurt them before him. That is, a previous betrayal, a father who left, a partner who lied, a husband who cheated, a childhood where love was unstable. And then a good man arrives. But she cannot receive him cleanly. She tests him, questions him, suspects him, pushes him away to see if he will return, reads danger into normal things, interprets distance as abandonment, interprets quiet as rejection, interprets independence as disinterest, and he spends the relationship paying debts he never created. That becomes exhausting. At first he may understand, he may be patient, he may reassure her, but if every day he is treated like a suspect in the court of another man's crime, eventually his heart gets tired. A good man may say, "I am not him," but if she cannot believe that, he eventually stops trying to prove it. The remedy is healing, not perfect healing, but honest healing. You cannot ask a good man to love you while making him live under the punishment of your past. Tell him your wounds. Yes. Let him understand your fears. Yes. But do not make him responsible for paying for damage he did not cause. Healing means learning to say, "This fear is real, but it may not be about you." That sentence can save a relationship. The 9th way good women push good men away is by using tests instead of truth. Some women test men because they are afraid to ask directly. They pull away to see if he chases. They act cold to see if he cares. They create emotional puzzles to see if he will solve them. They say nothing when something is wrong. They say, "Do what you want," when they want him to choose correctly. They expect him to read between lines he never knew existed. And then when he fails the test, they feel disappointed. But testing is not intimacy. Testing is fear. Testing says, "I do not trust you enough to be honest, so I will create a situation where you must prove yourself." That may feel protective, but it creates confusion. Good men are often direct. They may not always be emotionally perfect, but many of them respond better to truth than manipulation. If you need reassurance, ask. If something hurts you, say it. If you want closeness, express it. If you are afraid, admit it. Because mature love is not built through secret exams. It is built through honest communication. The 10th way good women push good men away is by treating his need for peace like emotional neglect. This happens often in long-term relationships. A man comes home quiet. He needs time. He needs silence. He needs to decompress. He needs to sit without talking. Not because he does not love her. Not because he is ignoring her. Not because he is hiding something. Because his nervous system has been running all day. But she interprets his quiet as rejection, so she follows. Questions. Presses. Demands. Pushes. "What's wrong? Why are you acting like that? Why don't you talk to me? Are you mad? Did I do something?" And suddenly the peace he needed becomes another emotional obligation. Now he must comfort her for the discomfort she feels about his silence. And after enough times, he learns that even needing peace creates conflict. That is exhausting. A good man's need for quiet is not always withdrawal. Sometimes it is restoration. Sometimes silence is how he returns to himself. The remedy is to learn his rhythm. Ask, "Do you need space or support?" That question is powerful, because it gives him room to answer without feeling accused. A wise woman learns that closeness does not always mean constant talking. Sometimes love gives space. Sometimes love waits. Sometimes love understands that peace is not rejection. It is recovery. The 11th way good women push good men away is by comparing him to other men. This one cuts deeper than many women realize. Maybe she compares him to her friend's husband, a man on social media, an ex, a father, a pastor, a boss, a fictional man in a movie, and she may think comparison will motivate him. It rarely does. Comparison usually humiliates. It tells him, you are being measured against someone else, and you are losing. A good man does not need to be worshipped, but he does need to know that the woman beside him sees him, not as a failed version of another man, but as himself. Comparison does not produce intimacy, it produces distance, because nobody feels safe in a relationship where they are constantly competing with invisible opponents. The remedy is specific communication. Do not say, why can't you be like him? Say, this is something I need more of from you. That is different. One attacks identity, the other names a need. The 12th way good women push good men away is by never apologizing deeply. Some women apologize with words, but not humility. They say, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry, but I already said sorry. Why are you still upset? That is not repair. That is damage control. A good man may forgive many things, but if he feels that his hurt is never truly acknowledged, the relationship becomes unsafe. Because apology is not about winning. It is about restoring trust. Every relationship needs repair. Research and relationship education often emphasize that the way couples handle conflict and repair afterward matters deeply for long-term stability. Vogue. If a woman cannot apologize without defending herself, her man may stop bringing up pain altogether. Not because pain disappeared, because repair feels impossible. The remedy is ownership. Say, I see how that hurt you. I understand why that mattered. I was wrong in how I handled that. What can I do differently next time? Those sentences soften walls. The 13th way good women push good men away is by confusing control with care. She tracks everything, corrects everything, plans everything, manages everything. She says it is because she cares, and sometimes she does. But care without trust becomes control, and control slowly suffocates love. A man who feels constantly monitored will eventually hide parts of himself just to feel free. Not because he is doing something wrong, because every human being needs room to exist without being managed. The remedy is trust with boundaries. If he has shown himself trustworthy, give him space. If he has not, address the real issue. But do not build a relationship where love feels like surveillance. The 14th way good women push good men away is by withholding warmth. Warmth matters. A soft voice, a kind look, a small touch, a genuine thank you, a smile when he walks in, a kiss without needing a reason. These things may seem small, but they are not small to a man who lives in a hard world. Many men are starving for tenderness. They will never say it that way, but they are. And when a woman becomes constantly cold, constantly irritated, constantly unavailable, he begins to feel emotionally homeless. He may still have a house, but not a refuge. And a man without emotional refuge will eventually search for relief somewhere else. Maybe work, maybe hobbies, maybe friends, maybe silence, maybe another woman. Not always because he wanted to betray. Sometimes because he wanted to feel warm again. That does not excuse betrayal, but it helps explain the hunger. The remedy is to restore small affection. Do not wait until the relationship is perfect to be kind. Kindness is often what helps repair the relationship. The 15th way good women push good men away is by believing love should make him tolerate anything. This is dangerous. Some women think, if he loves me, he should stay. If he loves me, he should understand. If he loves me, he should keep trying. If he loves me, he should accept my moods. But love has limits. Good men have limits. Patience has limits. Forgiveness has limits. Understanding has limits. You cannot keep wounding someone and then use love as the reason they should remain available for more pain. That is not love. That is emotional entitlement. The remedy is responsibility. Do not ask love to cover what maturity should confront. If you hurt him, repair it. If you push him away, acknowledge it. If you are afraid, say so. If you need help, seek it. Love is strong, but love should not be forced to survive neglect. The 16th way good women push good men away is by not letting him be human. She wants him strong, but never tired, confident, but never uncertain, protective, but never afraid, successful, but never stressed, emotionally available, but never needy, masculine, but never imperfect. That is not a man. That is a fantasy. Good men are human, They have limits. They have fears. They have insecurities. They have days where they do not know what to do. They have wounds they rarely discuss. They have pressure they hide because they do not want to burden anyone. And if a woman only loves his strength but has no patience for his humanity, he will eventually stop showing her his real self. The remedy is compassion. Make room for the man behind the role. Ask him what he is carrying. Ask him what he needs. Ask him what he has been afraid to say. And when he answers, do not punish him for trusting you. The 17th way good women push good men away is by making the children, career, family, or responsibilities replace the relationship. Life gets busy. Children need attention. Work demands energy. Bills do not pay themselves. Family issues happen. But if the relationship becomes permanently last, it will eventually weaken. Many women are wonderful mothers, workers, daughters, friends, and caretakers. But somewhere along the way, the man becomes another responsibility instead of the partner. The conversations become logistical. The intimacy becomes occasional. The laughter disappears. The softness disappears. And he begins to feel like everyone gets the best of her except him. That kind of loneliness is difficult to explain, because he may feel guilty even saying it. How can he complain when she is working hard? How can he ask for more when she is tired? So he says nothing, and the distance grows. The remedy is intentional connection. Even 10 minutes of real attention matters. A real conversation, a real touch, a real moment, not leftover energy, chosen energy. Because love does not survive on autopilot forever. The 18th way good women push good men away is by assuming he will always stay because he is good. This is one of the biggest mistakes. A good man's loyalty can become easy to take for granted because he is stable, because he forgives, because he comes home, because he does not cheat, because he keeps showing up, because he keeps trying. And slowly she assumes he will always be there. But good men leave too. They may take longer. They may warn quietly. They may fight for the relationship longer than most. But when a good man finally accepts that nothing will change, his departure can be very calm. And that calmness shocks people. But it did not happen suddenly. It happened after years of feeling unseen. The remedy is not fear. The remedy is gratitude. Do not wait until a good man is gone to value his goodness. Notice him while he is still there. Thank him while he can still hear it. Love him while his heart is still open. Because once a man closes emotionally, reopening him may take more than words. The 19th way good women push good men away is by refusing to receive love in the way he knows how to give it. Some men are not poets. Some men are not naturally expressive. Some men will not always say the perfect words. But they show love through action. They fix things. They provide. They solve problems. They protect. They remember practical details. They check the car. They work extra hours. They make sure the house runs. And if a woman only recognizes love when it arrives in her preferred language, she may miss the love he is already giving. Now, he should learn her language too. But she should also learn his. Because when a man's love is constantly ignored, because it does not look romantic enough, he may feel unseen. The remedy is translation. Ask, how does he show love? Not only, how do I want to receive it? Because sometimes love is standing right in front of you, wearing work boots instead of poetry. The 20th way good women push good men away is by forgetting that respect and softness are not weakness. Some women have been hurt so deeply that they fear softness. They think if they become gentle, they will be taken advantage of. If they receive help, they will lose power. If they respect a man, they will become small. If they apologize, they will lose control. If they let him lead sometimes, they will disappear. But that is trauma speaking, not wisdom. A healthy relationship does not require a woman to become weak. It requires her to become safe. Safe to love, safe to approach, safe to help, safe to tell the truth to, safe to be human with. A good man is not looking for a powerless woman. He is looking for a peaceful one. A woman who can be strong without being hard, independent without being closed, intelligent without being contemptuous, loving without being controlling, vulnerable without being helpless. That is powerful. That kind of woman does not lose herself in love. She brings her whole self into love, and she creates an environment where a good man wants to stay. Now let me say this clearly. If a man is abusive, dishonest, violent, chronically unfaithful, manipulative, or destructive, this conversation is not telling you to shrink yourself to keep him. Do not use this message to excuse mistreatment. A good woman should not destroy herself trying to keep a bad man. But if you have a good man, a man who is trying, a man who is loyal, a man who shows up, a man who may not be perfect but is genuinely present, then pay attention. Because good men do not usually need perfection. They need peace. They need respect. They need appreciation. They need room to contribute. They need emotional safety. They need a woman who does not confuse strength with hardness. And they need to know that who they are is not constantly on trial. Women watching this, I want you to ask yourself honestly, do you make it easy for a good man to love you? Or do you make him prove himself against every wound you have ever carried? Do you receive his help? Or do you reject it, then resent him for not helping? Do you appreciate his effort? Or do you only notice where he falls short? Do you allow him to be human? Or do you only value him when he is strong? Do you speak to him with respect? Or has your tone become the very thing that makes him shut down? Do not answer quickly. Sit with it, because your first answer may be defense, but your honest answer may be transformation. Men watching this, I want to hear from you too. Have you ever been pushed away by a woman who loved you, but did not know how to receive you? What happened? When did you start pulling back? Was it criticism? Was it emotional exhaustion? Was it feeling unnecessary? Was it the lack of respect? Was it never feeling like enough? Tell your story in the comments. Not to attack women, but to help somebody understand what many good men experience silently. And women, if this made you uncomfortable, I want you to comment too. Which point challenged you? Which one sounded like something you have done? Which one made you think of a man you may have pushed away without meaning to? This comment section can become a place where people learn from one another, because sometimes one honest comment can save somebody else years of confusion. Before I close, I want to leave you with this advice. You do not have to become less strong to become more loving. You do not have to become helpless to allow a man to help. You do not have to lose yourself to create space for someone else. The strongest love is not built through control. It is built through trust. The deepest connection is not built through fixing. It is built through acceptance. And the most peaceful relationships are not created by perfect people. They are created by humble people. People who can say, I see what I did. I understand how that affected you. I want to do better. That is where healing begins. Because many good women are not bad partners. They are wounded partners, guarded partners, tired partners, over-functioning partners, women who had to survive before they learned how to receive. And many good men are not asking for perfection. They are asking to feel respected, needed, wanted, trusted, appreciated, and safe. At the end of the day, a good man does not leave only because of one argument. He leaves after slowly feeling that his presence no longer matters. He leaves after feeling he cannot win. He leaves after feeling his efforts disappear into silence. He leaves after realizing he is loved, but not respected, needed, but not appreciated, wanted, but not received. And by the time he goes quiet, he may already be halfway gone. So if you still have a good man in your life, do not wait until his heart becomes silent. Pay attention now. Listen now. Soften now. Appreciate now. Heal now. Because sometimes the love you are afraid to receive is the love you prayed for before your wounds taught you to reject it. This is David. This is Relationship Reality. If this message spoke to you, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And tell me in the comments, have you ever pushed away a good person without meaning to? Or have you ever been pushed away by someone who loved you but did not know how to love you well? Your story may help somebody else recognize the pattern before it is too late. Because good love is rare. And when it comes, we must be healed enough to receive it.